For a marriage to work, there are numerous ingredients we need to put in it. But the famous ones are love, trust, and faith. Without these, perhaps your marriage is shaking. But there's one word that we need to emphasize today in marriage, and that is faith. Yes, faith. Faith that can move mountains. In a married life, there's a claim that you need to fulfill each duty as a husband and as a wife. What if your significant other doesn't have the same belief as you? Will this affect your marriage? If faith is lacking, how can one sustain their function in a wedlock? How does faith help marriage? Send your thoughts today as we untangle an important ingredient in marriage. In Better Together in Faith with our SPUC Communication Director, Pastor Roxie Pido, only here on Good Morning Pastor.
Mga banag asawa ato hisgutan karon kung unsa ning kaminyon ato makauban karon ang atong Pearl and bag-o nga napiling nga Communication Director sa South Philippine Union Conference, Pastor Roxie Pido. Good morning,
Good
Pastor.
morning,
Welcome.
Pastor.
Good morning. Nice to be here. So early in the morning, ha?
Ganon kay kasi ang color kay so vibrant.
Yes.
Early bird catches worm naman eh. So,
Wow. Mo ni Pastor nga basta buntag sa Sabado agwan taon ginamong bugnaw nga tubig.
bugnaw po
Yes,
na.
Right, mga kagalaan. Again, no? Ato ikaw ba na itong communication ng
Yes.
Pearl Director.
Salamat.
And thank you so much, Pastor.
you.
Naada ni siya sa Central Church later.
Wow, sa
Ako
Central
dito
Church.
sa Central Church.
Ah, Cagayan de
Sa
Oro
mga
Central
barangay
Church.
gala, naapog ko diya sa AMCC later, Adventist
Bulag-bulag.
Medical Center College Church dira sa Iligan City.
Wow.
Og si Awing naapod
Taguluan
sa
ko niya.
Taguluan.
Bulag-bulag
Daghan-
taon niya.
Busy dito lang, ha?
Busy atong
So,
life,
Pastor,
Pastor.
Okay, sige.
Yes, so Pastor, isgutan nato ning faith and marriage better together. Kining unsa man ning pagtuo, importante ba ning nga ingredients sa kaminyon, Pastor?
That is very important, no? But first of all, we have to understand that marriage, as they said, is a conscious love affair.
Conscious love affair.
It's a conscious
I like
love
that.
affair. So you really have to plan for it.
Pastor, na-confuse ko itong conscious love affair. What does it mean?
Yeah, conscious love affair meaning you really have to think of it seriously, and you have to consider different aspects of your life when you go into it, because it is a serious investment when you go into marriage. Like for example, if you will have a child, no? So it's a 20-year project in your life. So you cannot say that I have to stop now. I have to, you have to relinquish my responsibility. So you really have to push and finish the project. So it's a 20 or more year project.
So dili
in
pwede,
marriage.
Pastor nga, karon kanilang sa pagkauman
No,
undang na
No,
dayon.
because when you do a project, right, diba, you will have to finish it. Kasi kung tiwason, dili mo tiwason, you just have to stop in the middle. Sayang ang project, because you have already invested into it. So you really have to finish it within that period of time. So it is an investment, and it is a conscious love affair. And they said that man and woman is a compulsive love affair. So man and woman has to be together, because otherwise we won't be here today. That is what it means by how nature pushes us to be one. So in marriage, there's always a call for oneness and sameness. And religion plays a very important role in that, because in marriage, I think, I'm not a psychologist now. I'm not speaking from a point of view of a psychologist or what, but this is just based on my experience and some little readings that I've done in the past. So kaning tayong tao na say mga different needs, no? So there will come a time that you really have to fulfill those needs for stability purposes. That's why marriage becomes a necessity, and it becomes a better alternative. And religion is one of those needs. So when you go to marriage, you have to consider this aspect of your need for the fulfillment. But that's why God, when He set up marriage, this is for the reason of fulfilling our needs. That is why marriage becomes an institution.
Pero sa ato pa, Pastor, pero dili yun kayo nga need, nga as in need yun, yung basic needs sa atong life, or is it really, kaya naman giuban po, Pastor, nga satisfied now of being single?
There is a study that was conducted in the US just to make a support, because this is provided by the text. As we all know, there's, I think, 1 Corinthians 13:13, no? Be not unequally yoked with the unbeliever. Our righteousness and righteousness cannot stay together as one. It is very difficult, no? According to the study, gikan isa sa Pew Research Center, 8 in 10 adults in religiously matched marriage say they talk about religion a lot.
Okay.
Or some with their spouse compared to 46% of faithful people who have religiously an affiliated partner, says the research. That's why religion is very important. And going to that, in fact, it was, if I remember it well, it was Karl Marx who said that religion is the opium of the people, you know. But some people took it negatively, but for me, it's not pala. Kaya nakita pala ni Karl Marx, based on his study, nga, ang religion pala is very, very important sa life sa tao. Kay bisan daw nakita niya nga na adunay mga kasakit, adunay mga kaproblema, and then they stick to it ba. So if you marry someone of a different religious affiliation, it will really affect the relationship. In fact, it says to the research, no, it says further, ingon dining here shared religious beliefs enable couples to comfortably bring religion into the relationship and facilitating conversations that are more difficult for others.
Sa ato pa, Panyo Chawing, no, importante gyud kayo
siya.
nga ano. I'm just curious, Pastor, because there's a survey, there's statistics nga ingon ani nga maglisod ang couple kung dili sila same o religion. What if kanang naano gyud ba nga dili gyud na wala gyud na avoid nga ano. Unsa may mga tips nga atong ihatag sa ila, Pastor, para mo work gyapon ang marriage? Though naigingon niya be not equally yoked to unbeliever, pero unsaon man gyud nga nahigugma gyud sila adto, unsa pa may atong buhaton?
Well, of course, there's always a consequence to everything we do. That is always the call of nature, ano. But I think the best thing that we can do is to actually stay close to God. Because in any problems that we face, kada problema nga atong ginatubang, we most of the time we run out of answers but to our questions. And I think the best way to do that is really to come closer to God and allow God to correct perhaps kung, let's say, atong decision medyo dili gid siya desirable for our marriage. And I think that is not the end of everything because, you know, God is the beginning and the end.
I like that.
And we are in between. So whatever happens to you in between, that is not the end of everything because the end is God Himself, not you. So there's still a time to correct that. Perhaps in many ways, I have an auntie nga naminyo po sa
Dili pareha
dili pareho yun. But fortunately, my auntie is a very, very patient person ba. Ang iyang way of for compensating it, murag iyan lang ipakita nga gipalangga gyapon niya iyang husband.
So muna
Yang girespeto ba? So in a way, you know, respect begets respect. So in a way, ang iyang husband po is also giving the same kind of respect nga iyang ginapakita sa iya.
Muna giingon ni Pastor Rosawi nga adjust or just add. Just add
Pwede.
patience.
Pwede.
Pero makita gapon nato, Charm, no, nga naaga po yung mga kaminyo bisag lahig reliyon, happy gapon sila.
Yes,
sila
as long
We cannot condemn.
ano gyud sa Ginoo bitaw naagyapon ang Ginoo kay we have the same God.
Yes.
So at least kanang ano ba kung imo siyang madala, ikaw husband or ikaw bana or asawa imo siyang madala ngadto sa pag-ampo sa Ginoo, that could be the basic na imong mabuhat.
But then we have to remember na mo gini siyang fundamental nga principle. This is the ideal principle. Although once in a while we make mistakes or whatever, but of course, as I've said, that is not the end of everything. So God will just allow God to work in
Pastor,
our marriage.
nganong ang pagtuo makapauswag sa kaminyoon?
That's very important, you know, because for example, no, let's go to some studies that have been conducted on this. Para we will really see the logic behind it. Listen mo good mag-stipulate, listen mo mag-interpret sa biblical verses based on our understanding lang. So dapat it has to be supported by certain data.
Correct.
Natin, you know, why, going to your questions, more than the same Pew Research Center, more than 8 in 10 Protestants, 82%, married to fellow Protestants are highly religious, compared to 58% of Protestants married to men you know, not of the same one. Then potential temptation if you married a different a person of different religious affiliation, there's a potential temptation to disengage from religion, and it can be passed on to children of religiously mixed parents, resulting in a higher rates of departure from faith communities. So this is really the danger if you go into that, and I think that this also makes us to think that the faith is really important in married life, especially of same faith.
Yeah. I notice sa wing no nga na mga trials and problems that couples are encountering every single day. And if naamoy faith together, mura siya glue ba nga bisag
Correct.
Yes.
kasundiro na gyud ka pero dili gyud siya pwede because you believe that God will always be there
Correct.
and hatagan pa mo niya og tsansa nga magkapadayon ra gyapon. Pastor, yes.
Kaya ang
Wing.
nakanindot mo good charm, kung mag-away, example, mag-away ba ng asawa, isa mo pagtuo, mo yung magampo sa ta.
Yes, that's true.
Pinasayluway din,
So, common denominator ninyo as
One
inyong
ang
faith.
gitawag na they rather focus more on shared needs rather than on individual needs.
Right.
Pareho man inyong pareho inyong perspective, religious perspective. So,
correct.
mas dali maka-adjust.
Pastor, we have a lot of couples who are watching right now. What could be your message for them? We have the camera there, Pastor.
My message to them is really to make God as the partner in their marriage, because it was God who actually created marriage as a sacred institution. And then in marriage, you have to continue to love one another, because you cannot do love, but you can only make it. You can make love. So you really have to make necessary situations to make love happen, to make your relationship work. Remember, you cannot do love. You can only make love happen. So make it happen now.
All right, mga higala, make love happen. It is not something ay mo lang pangitao no, make it happen.
Yes.
And karon si AG o si Sharon anaa sa atong Zoom buddies. Ano sa pagpangutana, what is the result of faith in marriage? AG and Sharon.
Yes, make love happen. Sige yung pa ni Ate Charm. No, so karon ato pangutana tong mga Zoom participants og unsay resulta sa pagtuo dinha sa
Sa
marriage.
kaminyoon.
So atong pangutanon si Ma'am Ruth. Hello,
Ma'am Ruth, good morning.
Morning. Please unmute your mic, Ma'am Ruth. Unmute your mic. Unmute your microphone.
Hello.
Hello.
May buntag.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, we can hear you now. Ma'am, asa ta nagtanaw karon?
Good morning and happy Sabbath. So na ako karon sa Punong Hingog City.
Hingog. Familiar kayo ang place, sure.
So, Ma'am Ruth, usay atong mubo lang gyud no nga tubag sa atong pangutana karon.
Sa akong insights, ang kaminyoon usa kini kasagrado. So ma-compare ni nako siya sa triangle shape nga sa ibabaw nga points denote nako as si Jesus Christ, and the two other points nga nasa ibabaw i-denote nako as si husband and wife. So kani ang dili tanan ang kaminyoon happy na ay time nga na ay conflict, pero tungod nga naa si Jesus Christ na ay naiyahang words nga mag-remind sa atoa og na ay mga promises nga maka-comfort sa atoa. So na ay Bible verse nga nag-ingon nga kung masuko dapat dili paabtan sa sunset. So dapat love is very important than pride. So with that,
Yes.
kung naa si Jesus Christ center sa atong relationship, na ay harmonious married life. That's
Yes, thank you
Yes,
kayo,
thank you
Ma'am
so much,
Ruth.
Ma'am Ruth.
Yes, G.
And mga kagalaan na patay isa kakapaglaong nga makiginabi usab nato karon. And I need to I need to speak English. And you sure?
Oh, you can do it.
That's your friend. And we're also happy and glad to have Pastor. Is he Pastor, sir? How could we go? Yes, Pastor
Happy Sabbath,
Leaf,
good morning.
Co-Esther. Pastor, where did you came from?
Good morning, I'm in Cavite.
Cavite. Cavite, right, sure? Yes, in Cavite. And Pastor, what is your answer? A short answer to our question. What is the result of faith in marriage?
You know, the result of faith in marriage is love. I really like what the pastor said about the importance of having needs filled, because we all have this deep need to be loved, right? But the problem is that marriage in and of itself can't really fill that need, because only God can fill our deepest need to be loved. So when we have this faith, then it equips us to experience a fullness of love in marriage. And so marriage is beautiful, but it can't completely fill our need for love. Only God can do that. But the faith in marriage makes the marriage love complete. And I also really appreciated the discussion about what to do when there might be an unbelieving spouse or a difference of faith in the marriage. In 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 14, it says, "The unbelieving husband may be sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife sanctified by the husband." In other words, if you're in that situation, if someone's in a situation where their spouse doesn't have the same faith, you can have faith for the two of you, and God can give you enough love to bless the marriage, even though you might not have a complete unity of faith.
Yes, Pastor Lee, thank you so much for your answer. I like the idea, Chair, that the result of faith in marriage is actually love.